Welcome back to Fashion with Sort Out YouTube channel. How are you all doing? Thank you for always stopping by. Now, in today's tutorial, we are learning how to make this beautiful gown. Here I have my beautiful Ankara fabric, and you can see how beautiful it is. It's a double pattern Ankara, and the issue now is to decide how to play around it and we'll have it beautiful. So I decided to make use of this upper part. You see where my hand is, I make it as a center. I mean the main part of the dress. Do we understand? So right now I've gone ahead to cut the lower part, the skirt part of the dress. I have the back part, the back cut and the front cut, and of course to the back cut I added 2 inches as my zipper allowance. Now I'm going to be imputing my waist circumference. The waist I'm working with is 7 inches. I divided it by 4. That gave me 9.2. I then 2.5 and then I added 2.5 sewing allowance to my waist. Now to the hip, I'll come down from the waist to by 6 inches and then again mark 9 inches. That is from the waist, and this will serve just like we do have it. This will serve as the upper part of the hip, and the 9 inches will serve as the lower part of the hip. Do you understand? And then I'm marking out the knee length. Now for the knee length measurement is 33, so I have to draw up my tape rule to know exactly where the 33 inches in. So the part I drew up is that place that will serve as the upper part of the dress. So afterwards I marked out the 34 inches, which is the nail length. And so now I'm going to impute the circumference. Since I folded the fabric with the hip circumference, so I'm just going to connect. The hip we are working with is 46 inches divided by 4 gave us 11.5. I then added the 2.5 sewing allowance to it. That's why I just drew it down to the hip. I folded the cloth using 14 inches. The hip measurement 46 divided by 4 gave us 11.2.5, just like I said, plus 2.5 sewing allowance. That's 14. So I add my fabric folded in on fold by 14 inches for the front part. Now coming to the nail length, the nail parts, the nail circumference I'm making use is I subtracted 2 inches from my hip measurement, and that gave me 12. So on the nail length I marked 12 inches. Now that I've connected that, we'll move to the M part of the M line of the fabric, and then the same 12 inches I have at the nail length, I'm going to just draw it down to the M length and then cut out. So after cutting it out, I also separated the back part of the dress so that we won't confuse it with the front. Now to our upper part. To the upper part, I have my basic pattern drawn out. This dress we are making use of padded princess dart, and so I have also gone ahead to mark my gap, which is 4.5 inches, and then I'll come back to the shoulder part and to the armhole part and then find the midpoint of it, which is 4 inches. As you can see, I mark that 4 inches and come up by ½ inch. I mark that and come down by ½ inch. I also mark that. So this is what I'm using for my princess dart. I'll just take my cuff ruler and then connect it from the bust point gap. I'm going to connect it to the arm, just as you see me doing it. I'll connect it and also draw it down and then connect it to the other markings on the shoulder. Do you understand? So I'm doing that, and then this other one too will be marked out, and this one will be with extension because you are going to form a new armhole for our shoulder. Next, we'll move down to our underbust area, and then on the underbust line, I will mark 1.5 on the right and then come inside on the left and mark 1.5. Okay, so next thing I'm going to do is I'll pick my cuff ruler and then make the connect of the point on the underbust line to the bust points as you see me doing it, and then I'm going to join the other side in a curvy manner. is not straight, as you can see, because it's bustier. We are going to be padding it, and that's why we are having that shape. So right now we'll proceed to our waist line, and then on each side of the gap line I'm going to mark 1 inch both inward and outward, and then make a connect of the points. So I'm connecting the points on each side to the waist line, and then I'm going to make a new armhole. To do that, from the extension we had on the lower curve, I came up by 1.2 and then use it to form a new armhole. So this is basically what we need to make a princess bustier. So we proceed to imputing our body circumference. The bust we are working with is 41 inches, so that's divided by 4, that's 10.25. I marked out the 10.25, and then on the armhole, the 1.2 extension, I added it to, and then added the extra 2.5 sewing allowance. The same thing I'm going to have on the bust point. Do you understand? And then we'll proceed to our under bust circumference. The under bust circumference we are working with is 37 inches divided by 4, that's 9.2. And then remember that we came in and out by 1.5 inches the other time, so that gave us 3. To that 9.25 I'm going to add 3 and then add an extra 2.5 sewing allowance. So all together that gave me 14.5. I'm just going to make a connect of all and then cut. Now we have our upper front ready. We have the center front and then the side. I have set the sides apart, and then if you observe that we didn't mark out anything on the neck, that was deliberate. It's because of the peculiarity of the style, and that is the major concern of this style itself, the neck, and then the stylish neck, and then the sleeve. So now to mark our neck out, I'm going to mark 4 inches on the neck, and then before we continue with it, I'm going to make a shoulder slant of the neck. You know, I just came down by ½ inch at the neck side, at the arm, at the shoulder side, and then make a shoulder slant. I'm sorry about that, guys. So now that we have done that, the next thing I'm going to do is I just fold it like you see me do, and then notch it. After it has been notched, the next thing I'm going to do is open it to the right side. It was actually folded on the wrong side before, as you can see, and then I have opened it to the right side so that we can mark the neck. Now to the neck, from the center of the neck, I'm going to come down by 6.5 inches. So from that 6.5 inches, I'm going to move to the way you are seeing it, to the right side by 2 inches. So, and then I'm going to connect the center point of that 6.5 to the 2 inches. I'll make a straight connect of the points. After that has been done, on this other side where my ruler is placed, I'm just going to make a straight line down to the extension, that 2 inches extension, and then I'm going to connect this other side to the 2 inches extension, and that's how we'll have our neck. Next thing I'm going to do, I hope you can see, I hope my chalking is not so faint. So I'm just going to cut it out, and then after cutting it out, we'll proceed to cut our collar. Now the shape is making, the neck is making meaning now. So this is the wrong side. I'll just make a mark on it to differentiate it from the front, and then I'm going to set this aside and then proceed to the collar. Now to our collar, you see the pattern that initially when I started, I told you that we want to play around the fabric, and then I'm making use of this particular side as our collar so that it will be well pronounced. Now I have my fabric folded into 2, as you can see, and I don't actually have a particular I just use my discretion in folding it, so I have it on fold actually, and then I place my center front on it, as you can see, and then if you notice, I still placed it wrong side facing the right side of the fabric. The fabric is folded on the right side, so I placed my center front on it wrong side facing the right side. The chalk isn't showing so clear, and so that's why I decided to pick my pen, and then I use my pen to trace the neck out. So after tracing it out, the next thing I'm going to do is come to the shoulder part and then trace. After tracing the neck, I came to the shoulder part and then trace it out also, just to give me direction to the cut of the collar. And I think this is the simplest way of making that kind of collar on the dress. So now I hope you can see it. I hope it's clearer. So I'm just going to trace it back with the chalk so that it can be more clearer since it's looking faint. Okay, I guess we can see it well now. The next thing I'm going to do is pick my tape roll as usual and then place it on the shoulder part of the trace, as you can see the way I placed it, and then I'm going to mark out 3.5. The thing is, I don't want the collar to be too wide and I don't want it too thin, and that's why I marked out 3.5 inches. So half will serve as my sewing allowance, while the 3 inches will be the width of the collar. I'm going to mark it down the way and connect it with my ruler as you see me do. Okay, so from there I'm going to join the down part of the collar perpendicularly to the neck depths that we had initially, and after that has been done, I'm also going to move to the other side of the collar and then come to the shoulder part of it and also mark is still the same measurement, 3.5 width, and then I'm going to mark it all the way down. And after making the mark, I'm going to make a connect just like I did to the other side. Now I'm going to pick my ruler and then connect the base first as you see me doing it, and then after that has been done, I'll turn my ruler and then connect it to the shoulder part. Connect the points to the shoulder part of the left area, and then after that has been done, I'm just going to cut everything out. For the collar to have a structure, I mean for it to stand well, I've gone ahead to cut paper stay and iron it to it. All I'm just going to do is fix it together, fix the lining to it. Let me call one lining and the other the main thing. I'm going to fix just so it's down the way like that, and then come back to show you how to fix it to the neck. After stitching it, this is the way it came out. All I'm going to do, as you can see, the edges are sewn, and then I left the part that will be fixed to the neck open, and then I use it to turn it. After turning it, this is the way it came out. I've also ironed it, and then that gave it a structure. You see it, and the edge that will be at the shoulder part too was not sewn. Do you see? So I'm just going to place it on it this way, and then the other one too, I'll place it, and after placing it, I'm going to make a top stitch on it before I then fix my lining so that it won't shift. Can you see it's coming out beautiful as we desire it and as we have it on the picture also? So after I'll top stitch it and then fix my lining to turn it. After doing that, I'll come back to show you how it is. This is actually how it came out. That's the front and the lining. This is the back part, and I've also gone ahead to join the upper part to the down part. You see, do you see how it came out? So we have this pattern area as the concentrate of the dress. Of course, because of the pattern of the dress, we still have the plain parts as the hem of the dress. You see at the base of the dress. Do you see? So I'm just going to go ahead, fix my zipper, and then join the neck, and then do every other necessary things, and then I'll come back to show you how it came out. And guys, this is how we have it after sewing everything together. You see our beautiful collar. I've also joined the sides, and then what we are going to do next is fold this and set it aside, and then move to our sleeve, which is another major area of concentrate of the dress. I mean, that's one of the beauty of the dress. So what I'm going to do now is come down by 5 inches, and before I move forward, the sleeve is folded on 22 inches, and then the length is 21 inches. So I'm just going to join it from the cap right there to the 4 inches I came down with to form the armhole biceps. Now I'm going to cut it out, and then we'll have our sleeves. Now we still maintain the 22 inches for the base of the sleeve, and that is because we are going to pleat it on a band. To cut the bias, I want to have it on 3 inches length, and then the width is around as much as you can have it. So because we are going to tie it afterwards, so I have it on 19 inches on fold, no, 12 inches on fold, such that by the time I fix the hand, we'll still have some part of the strap left out to tie it. So at the end of the day, I have 23.5 inches as the length of the sleeve. You see, I've joined the band to it, and this is how it came out. All I have to do now is split it round to the sleeve and then join the sleeve to it. Guys, after joining it to the sleeve, rather, this is how it came out, and you see how beautiful we have the sleeve and even the neck of the dress. The whole dress came out so beautiful. If you have stayed to this time, I'm sure you got value watching this video. Give this video a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and if you are here to subscribe to this channel, what are you waiting for? Do not wait for that. Subscribe to this channel. Let's keep this community going and running. And here we have come to the end of this video. Thank you everyone for staying true. See you in my next tutorial, guys. Bye.